Hi everyone. In this video we are going to learn about area and perimeter of plane figures. If you are using this new syllabus Mathematics 7th edition from Xingli, it will be in chapter 13. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to convert a unit from meter square to centimeter square mostly, but then we are going to try to cover all the conversion possible. And then 2, you should be able to find the area and perimeter of basic plane figures such as square, rectangle, triangle, circle, semicircle, trapezium, and parallelogram. I might add a kite and rhombus at the end as well, just so that we can cover all the possible figures. And then the last one, you should be able to, let me check my notes, you should be able to solve problems involving area and perimeter of composite figures. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, as you can see, to learn about area and perimeter of a plane figures, we need to understand how to convert a unit or how to do conversion of unit. If you want to convert a unit, you need to understand about this metric staircase. Why do we call it staircase? Because it seems like a staircase where meter is in the middle of the staircase. We had 3 units above meter, which means bigger than meter itself, and then we had 3 other units at the bottom of meter, which is smaller than the meter itself. We know so far that 1 stair down in this metric staircase means times 10, while 1 stairs up means divided by 10. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say that I had a square here with the length of the side 4 meter, and then this is 4 meter because this is square, which means they both had the same, all the sides had the same length. That means this 4 meter will be equal to 40 decimeter. So it is okay for me to write, instead of 4 meter, I write 40 decimeter here. Even though the number is different, the length itself is the same. That's what it means by conversion of unit. So even though, since the units are different, the number that the unit shows will be different as well. However, the length of the shape itself do not change at all. That is what it means by conversion. And then as you can see, if I have 4 meter, it is the same as I have 40 decimeter. It works as well when I say that I had 4 meter for the side of the square. That's also equal to, I'm sorry, I will just write it again, 40 decimeter. It's also the same with 400 centimeter. It is also the same with 4,000 millimeter. So when let's say that this is a real 4 meter is this big. When I say I want to create something 400 centimeter, it will be this big as well. It won't change since it is just a different unit. However, the length itself is the same. Okay, and then as you can see, how can 4 meter goes to 40 decimeter, 400 centimeter, and 4,000 millimeter? Because from meter, when you go down once, it is times 10. You go down twice, will be times 100. And then you go down 3 times, will be 4,000. However, when we learn about area and perimeter, we know that, let's say that I had this square with 4 meter length, the area of the square will be 4 times 4 meter, which is 16 meter square. As you can see here that I had this 16 meter square, which is a little bit different from the unit that we had so far. It has a square there. What does this mean? This means that you cannot use the usual staircase method or staircase formula or the usual rules that you apply in the usual metric staircase. This 16 meter square is not equal to 160 decimeter square. It's not equal. You might argue that it is only one stair down. Why is it wrong? Let me show you why. Let me tell you why. So far we had this area. I will put it down here. 4 times 4 equals to 16 meter square. Okay. However, when you change it into decimeter, you have to remember that the one that will be changed into decimeter is not only one side, but both sides. Decimeter. Now you have a square with the length of 40 decimeter each. So the area of the square itself will be 40 times 40. So the area will be 1600 decimeter square. That's why if the metric staircase is a quadratic metric staircase, it's a quadratic like this. Instead of 10 per stair, it will be 100 per stair and 100 when you go up as well. So you will times 100 when you go down, and you will times 100, and you will divide by 100 when you go up the stairs. So that's about the conversion of unit. I hope it is easy for you to understand that. Let's move on. Once you learn about that, you will be able to go to learn how to find the area and perimeter of a plane figures. Before we go into the area, I will talk about the perimeter. You have learned that some plane figures or something like square, rectangle, triangle, they have their own formula for the perimeter, right? However, it is very simple to find the perimeter of a figures. The point of the perimeter is just this. The sum of its sides. No matter what kind of figure is that, perimeter always the sum of its sides. Let's say that we have square. We know that square has 4 lengths or 4 sides, right? And each of them are the same. When you want to count the perimeter with this meaning of perimeter, you know the perimeter is the sum of its sides. So we just have to do the sum of its sides, which is L plus L plus L plus L. Since you have learned algebra, L plus L plus L plus L will be 4L or 4S. That's why perimeter of square will turn into 4L or 4S, depends on where do you learn it. Sometimes it's called sides, sometimes it's called length. Okay, that is about square, and it applies with other figure as well, such as rectangle. We know that in rectangle we have length and base, right? So we know that the perimeter will be length plus base plus length plus base. For those of you who have learned algebra, you know that it is 2L plus 2B, and then you can factorize the 2, so you will have 2 parenthesis length plus breadth. That's why at the end, for the perimeter, you have 2 times length plus breadth. The point is, perimeter is the sum of its sides, of all sides. The only perimeter that you have to memorize is the perimeter of a circle. you know that in a circle we had diameter and radius. So the perimeter of the circle will be pi times d, or diameter. No worry, we are going to get into circle after this. I'm going to talk about the perimeter of the circle when we are discussing about circle as well. So now let's talk about area. Let's talk from the most common figures, I will say, which is a square. Let's assume that this square is 3 meters each. Okay, 3 meters on each sides. I mean, the side of the square is 3 meters each. So this is what I can. Why do we have this as a formula of area of the square? Side times side. Why do we have as square or side times side or length times length? How can it become the formula for square area? This is how it works. Let's say that this square, it is 3 meters each, right? So I will divide the length, the bottom length, to 3, 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. I will do the same with this length, the one that going up and down, the vertical length. When perimeter talks about the round of something or around a figures, area itself talks about all the stuff inside, how much things that you can insert in these figures or that you can put in these figures, in this figure. So when we had this, we know that we can insert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes. But how do we get that 9? It is actually 3 per line, and we had 3 lines, right? That's why it is 3 times 3. Since the length itself is S, that's why the area of the square is side times side, or side square, or usually it is length square. Okay? It works the same with rectangle. Let me get the rectangle for you. Okay. Hold on for a while. Yeah. This is my rectangle. Let's say the rectangle had a length of 4 meters and then the breadth of 2 meters. What you are going to do, the same thing with the square, we are going to split it. The breadth says 2 meters, so I will split it into 1 meter each. The same thing with the length, since it is 4 meters, I will split into 4, so 1 meter each as well. By this, we know that the area of the rectangle is 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how we get length times breadth. Because it's actually 4 times 2. So length times breadth. Usually you can write it like this, because this small dot usually can be read as times. So that's about square and rectangle. Actually, this two is the basic of other 2D figure. Next figure, we will have a triangle. How can triangle get if you know, the area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2, or base times height times half, which is the same with divide by 2. How can a triangle get that formula? You know that when you see a triangle, this will be the base, right? And this will be the height. Well, if I complete this triangle, let me show you. If I complete it like this, you can see that it seems like a rectangle, but I cut it into. It is like a rectangle, but I cut it into. We have learned just now that rectangle is length times breadth. This is just, I just changed the name a bit, become base times height. That is the rectangle. However, since my triangle only half of the rectangle, what I do is base times height, and then I divide by 2, or I cut in 2. That's why we have this as a formula of a triangle. I'm sorry, I do not need this. Okay, so triangle is base times height divided by 2. That is triangle. Can we go further than that? How about parallelogram and trapezium? Actually, parallelogram and trapezium also based on the square or a rectangle. We will go there after we get into a circle first. Circle is a unique shape, since circle has something that we call pi. The formula of perimeter of a circle is pi times d, or diameter. What is diameter? Diameter is, so every circle we had a middle or a center point. Diameter is when a line go past through the center point from one side to the other side. This is called diameter. And that's how you get the perimeter of a circle, by pi times diameter. What is pi? Pi itself, usually we use 22/7 or 3.14 for the pi. It depends on the diameter or the radius of a circle. What is radius? Radius, if diameter is from one side to the other side of a circle but passing through the middle or the center point of a circle, radius means from a center of a circle going to any point of the circle's side. This is what we call radius. Okay, I hope you can read that, the radius. So when do we use radius? Radius is used in, actually you can use radius in perimeter, but then usually it's mostly used in the area itself. Pi times radius square. Pi r square. The area of a circle is pi r square. But can we find perimeter of a circle if we are given the radius? Of course we can. Because as you can see that radius only from the middle to any point, right? While radius from one side to the other side. I mean diameter. When diameter from one side to the other side, it seems like this diameter is, do you see that from this middle to the bottom, it is r? And then from the center to the top also r. So actually diameter is 2r or 2 radius. While radius is half of the diameter. So no matter what is given to you, it's either the radius or the diameter, you will be able to find both perimeter and area. When do we use 22/7? Is when the diameter or radius given to you is a multiplication of 7. That means you can just divide the radius or the diameter with 7 right away before multiply it by 22. However, when you are given another radius number such as 8, 10, 20, you will use 3.14 instead. However, no matter which one you use, usually it will lead to an answer that's almost the same. Okay? But the pi itself, if you search in Google, the pi itself, it's actually not really 3.14 or 22/7. Pi is a number that is what we call irrational number that will not end. The number after the decimal will not end. That's about a circle. Let's move on. Let's move on to a parallelogram. Let's talk about parallelogram. This is not a parallelogram, I know that. However, let us refresh our memory a bit. If you have learned in your elementary, parallelogram will have the area, the formula of the area of parallelogram is base times height. But why? Why base times height? When we look at the parallelogram, it is actually the same with, let me take my scissor. It is actually the same with a rectangle that I cut like this. And then I will put it there. You see? Now this is a parallelogram. Why is it base times height? Let's get back when it is still in a rectangle form. When it is in a rectangle form, we know that the area of a rectangle is length times breadth. But in this case, we are going to change the word length into base and the word breadth into height. I shouldn't put it here. I should put the height here. From this point to this point, we call it height, right? And then when we change this, it won't change. It won't change. I just cut it and move it aside. It won't change the area of the figure itself. That's why it is the same like rectangle, which is base times height. That's why we have this. Okay? That is about parallelogram. Let's go into another shape, which is a trapezium. For trapezium, it is quite tricky. The area of a trapezium is a plus b times height divided by 2. I'm sorry, I should write times height divided by 2. Right? That is the area of a trapezium. How can we get that? This a plus b means the total or the sum of a parallel lines. In a trapezium, that there will always have one pair of parallel lines, right? In this case, we have this A and B. However, now I'm going to try to cut this trapezium like this. I will cut it. And now after I cut the trapezium, I had this little triangle that I can separate, right? Let's call this part as an X. while this is not b anymore because I take the x, so this turns into a. But you know, when I combine x and a and x, it will be a b, okay? And then the trapezium will have height as well. So how do we find the area of a trapezium when I split it like this? We will do it one by one. The area will be the area of a rectangle, which is area 1. It is a times height. And then the area of a triangle will be, we have learned before that this is also the height. So height times x divided by 2. Now, since we have these two areas, we will try to bring it and we will try to combine it together to get the area of a trapezium itself. So the area of the trapezium will be a times h will be ah, and then this x times h divided by 2 will be xh divided by 2, right? When we try to finish this, we will get 2ah out of 2 plus xh out of 2. If you have learned about algebra, you know that this 2ah plus xh can be factorized. How do you factorize this one? We will take out the h. We will factorize the h from the equation. So we will have h 2a. 2a means we have 2a plus x, right, in here. However, I will not put 2a plus x, but I will write it as a plus x divided by 2. If you remember, if I combine this trapezium, that means I combine the a and the x. And when I combine the a and the x, it will turn into b. I have ax here, and when I combine a and x, I can just do a plus x. I change it into b. That's why we have a plus b times height will become, divided by 2 will be the area of the trapezium. The same, a plus b times height divided by 2. That's about the area of a trapezium. I will give you two bonus shape, which is a kite and a rhombus. Both of them are actually the same. The difference between kite and rhombus is in the side itself, where kite will have two pair of lengths that are equal, while rhombus will have all sides equal. I'm sorry, let me draw it better for you. So if you know that in a kite we have these two lines in the middle, we call it diagonal. We usually call it diagonal 1 and diagonal 2. And then when you want to count the area of a kite or a rhombus, it will be diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. Where diagonal 1 can be maybe the longer or the shorter, it doesn't really matter as long as diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 and then divided by 2. But how can we get that formula? Where does that formula come from? It is very simple. If we add up a line here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you should be able to see another figure here. What figure can you see? When I add this dot on the side or on the outer part of the kite itself, I get a rectangle. And then when when I want to count the area of a rectangle, then what I will do is I will times this side with this side. We know that this side or the long side, we do not call it length in this case, we call it diagonal 1. And the breadth, we do not call it breadth, we call it diagonal 2. If I want to count the whole rectangle itself, I will do diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. However, the kite actually only half of it, right? Look, when I cut it in 4, this part of the kite is actually half from this small square. Let me get another color so that it's easy for you to see. This part of the kite is actually half from this small square. This part of the kite is actually half of this rectangle here, and the last part of the kite is the same, only half. So basically, this kite is actually half of the full rectangle. If I want to find the rectangle, I will do diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. When I want the kite only, then I will divide them by 2. That's how I get diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2 for kite. I hope you understand this. Next, let's talk about composite figure. I will not talk much about this because what you will do is actually just combine the formula that you have learned so far. So let's say that you had a figure like this. And then the question is find out this figure has the length of, this is a square and a semicircle. Let's say that this is a square and a semicircle. The length of the square or the side of the square is 7 centimeter. What is the area and the perimeter of the figure? Then what you will do is, for the area, I usually like to start with the area because it is easier. We will just combine the area of the square and the area of the semicircle. So area of square plus area of semicircle. What is the area of the square? We know that it is 7, so 7 times 7, 49, or you can do it completely. 7 times 7 plus the area of the semicircle. We know that the area of a circle is pi r square, right? So this area of semicircle is pi, which is because the diameter or the radius is, the diameter itself is 7. So I will use 22/7 to make it easy. 22/7 pi times r square. The r is not 7. Look, if you see this half circle or semicircle, you can see that this is the diameter, which is 7. Then the radius will be half of it, right? So we have 3.5 as a radius. 3.5 times 3.5. However, that is only one circle. That is one circle, I mean. And in here we have a semicircle. We have to times half. Then we will just count this out. It will be 49 for the area of the square, while the semicircle will have this. I can just divide 7 and 3.5, so I will have 2 at the bottom here, and then I can just cross the 2 with the 22, so I will get 11 at the top. Therefore, I had 11 times 3.5, it will be, I'm so sorry, it's not that clear. So in here I had 49 plus, let me see, is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. So 11 times 3.5 means 38.5 divided by 2, right? So you just have to finish this. You will get 49 plus, this will be 19.25, and then you add it up, become 568.25. Since this is, I'm sorry, I forgot to write centimeter, the area will be centimeter square. Okay, how about the perimeter? Let's talk about the perimeter. In a perimeter, I rarely write the formula because you cannot write in area. You can write area of square plus area of semicircle. But if you write perimeter of square plus perimeter of semicircle, you will make a mistake. Since this is what happened. Perimeter only talks about the outer part of a figure. When I combine these two figures, the outer part will be this length 1, 7, 2, 7, 3, 7, and then this half circle. I will not count this middle line. While if you count the perimeter of the square, if you use a formula, it will count all sides, which means you will count this line. And if you count it with the perimeter of a semicircle, you will plus the diameter in the middle. So I will not do that. Instead, what I will do is I will just simply break it down. The perimeter will be 7 plus 7 plus 7, 7 plus 7 plus 7, plus the last half circle, right? We know that the diameter of, if it is one circle, the perimeter of this circle will be pi d. When I erase it into half, only I will get the same half circle. So it is pi d times half, or pi d, the pi is 22/7, since the d is 7, the diameter is 7, times half. When you cross this and then you cross this, you will get 11 in here. So you will get 7 times 3, 21 plus 11. And then you get 32 centimeter for the perimeter itself, the perimeter of the composite figures. So dealing with composite figures, actually dealing with the composite figures is just using your basic knowledge, and then basic knowledge of each figure, and then you try to combine it into one. Or sometimes there are some questions such as I want to cut the small square in the middle, and then I ask you to count the shaded area only. In that case, since we are going to count the shaded area only, what I will do is I will count the big square, I will take away the small square, and then we are good to go. Okay, so good luck with this chapter 13. It should be very easy. It will be a smooth walk if you can somehow get used to the formula. I will not ask you to memorize it hardly, but try to understand it, understand the formula. So good luck with it. I'll see you in the next video.